Hey guys, Melissa here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how I wire wrap a cabochon into a setting that you can incorporate into a bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one for you. This one has a labradorite cabochon, sterling silver wire with swirls, and then a leather chain, I guess you can call it. You can attach your cabochon to anything you would want, chain or anything you'd want your bracelet to be made out of. This one I'm making out of leather. This one I've made out of 4mm leather cord with these sterling silver cord ends. You can use any clasp you'd like. In this video I'm using one of my little handmade swan clasps. Yeah, so just stay tuned and I'll show you how. For this project, the tools you'll need are the usual. I just grabbed all my tools here: chain nose, round nose, flush cutters, flat nose. You'll most likely be using all of them. Got a ruler here. I grabbed a Sharpie. I'm also gonna need some tape. I grabbed a pin vise. We're using square wire today, so if you feel like twisting your wire, these pin vices come in handy. I also grabbed my materials. Obviously this one's already made, so I'm gonna use this as a reference. I grabbed my cabochon. This happens to be a labradorite, a 10 by 14. It's just a little guy. Got some good flash as well. And I grabbed 2 Jumprings, which I just make on my own, my little handmade swan clasp. 4 cord ends, which I tell you, those guys are expensive. I'll put a link down in the description, but they're from Fire Mountain Gems, and I have to look up what they are now, but when I price them out to sell, they're like $4 a piece. So feel free to make your own cord ends. And then I measured out about 2 1/4 inch pieces of 4mm black leather cord. So I'll just put those aside for now. So the main part of this video is just wrapping the cabochon. What you do with it afterwards, it's all up to you guys. I'm pretty much going to wrap it like the one I have here. I'm going to be using sterling silver today, 20 gauge square wire, and for my half round I've got 20 gauge as well. And half round I usually grab like 5-6 inches. That should get me through the project. How I figure out how much square wire I'll need: first I measure my cab. I'm just going to use a little scrap wire to measure it. Just wrap it around the base. So it's almost 2 inches. I'm gonna just round it up to 2. And what I always do to give myself plenty of wire is I double that, especially if I was just using one bundle of wires and going completely around. I'd at least double it, maybe triple it, but for this one we're gonna have 2 bundles of wires because you're gonna have 2 meeting points. So I think doubling the wire should be fine because that'll give you plenty of wire on the ends to make your loops for the jump rings and also make your decorations. Also, you need to decide how much wire to use or how many strands of wire to use. This one I use 3, and this one's pretty much, it's a little thicker, but I think 3 should be fine. So I'm going to cut 6 4-inch pieces of wire. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. I cut myself 6 lengths of my 20 gauge square, and I'm going to make 2 bundles. So I make sure they're nice and straight and flat next to each other. I grabbed some small pieces of tape already, and I'm going to tape the ends. It keeps my square wire nice and neat. Keeps it from twisting. Now before this, if you feel like twisting any of your wire, feel free to do that now before you tape it. Yeah, you can have twisted wire throughout the whole setting, or you can have the setting just square wire, and then you can twist your little swirls at the end, whatever you want to do. Take this one. This one's wanting to twist. I come through with my flat nose along the whole length. Keep those guys to behaving themselves. Sometimes I give them a little wiggle. Like that to get them to lay flat. Okay, 2 lengths. That guy in the middle. You're gonna need to find the middle. So with each one, I'm gonna mark the middle. And there. All right. Alright, next I'm going to put my wraps on. For this one I used 4 wraps on both sides. So that's what I'm going to do here. Grab my half round. It's 20 gauge by the way. So I kind of make a hook on it. I don't like to waste any sterling silver if I don't have to. Make 2 wraps and kind of line it up with the center. Make it nice and tight. If you need to straighten them out, just grab both corners and kind of give them a squeeze. Kind of helps to straighten them out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. Smash it down. And you do the same to the other one. Alright, I got my bindings on. So next I'm going to want to shape it around the stone. I'm going to use a Sharpie as a template, or a mandrel, so to speak. Get that curve going. Might be too much though. And you want to keep your bindings off to the side right in the center. And curve your wire around it nicely. That looks good. Make sure your ugly side is on the inside. Around the Sharpie. Just not so tight. Okay, so they should be pretty much equal. Now what you want to do is kind of find the halfway point where the wire hits the halfway point on either side here. Let me get my marker back. About there and there. Do the same thing to the other side. So I have my wires marked, and what we're going to do now is bend them 90 degrees outward. That you need your flat nose pliers right at the mark. Keep your square wires as straight as possible. Give them a nice bend. There you go. So now my wire's bent out 90 degrees, but you might have to do some adjustments, but it should hug your stone pretty good. So now what I want to do is I want to bind each of these areas here. Grab my half round again, and just pick a side and start binding. If you're able to hold them with your fingers nice and sturdy, you can do that, or you can grab a clamp and clamp them together for you. I happen to have two, so I'm going to clamp both sides just because I need all the help I can get. Okay, I've got them clamped. These clamps are nice. I'll put a link down in the description for these. I think they're from wirejewelry.com. They're really nice for stuff like this and wire weaving and stuff, just to hold your project for you so you don't lose your thumbs. I used to use hemostats. These are cushions. I like these better. All right, so let's throw the bindings on. Try to get them as tight as I can. I don't want too much of a bundle over here, so I'm going to snip it. Snug those up tight. Do the same thing to the other side. Both my bindings are on, so I think it's safe to take my clamps off. Let's go ahead and set our stone, which is really easy. I grab my flat nose. I'll do the bottom. So the bottom is pretty simple. I'm going to grab right next to the bindings here, and I'm going to twist to the right. And make that shape like that. Do the opposite on the other side. Grab next to the bindings. Give it a twist. Straighten them out, because you're going to be pulling your wires out from here, so there might be a bend in them, so you can go ahead and straighten them out. What's nice about sterling silver, if you happen to mar your wire, you can buff it out later. Pull that one out. See, that wire over here is a little bent, so you can kind of straighten it out. It's the back, so it doesn't have to look super pretty. At this point, I'm going to take my tape off. Because the top I want to look nice. I want to pull the wires out as smoothly as possible. And for the prongs to hold the stone in, you're not gonna, on the back I pull them straight this way, but on the front, kind of tease these wires apart. I kind of use my round nose pliers to try to get in between and kind of snug it open, or tease it open, I should say. What works nice too is these little screwdrivers, tiny ones, that in between, kind of tease it open. Getting those wires to go where you want them to. This is a pretty small setting, so they're going to be kind of stubborn. But I go little bits at a time and work your way around the setting. Because they're going to pull on each other too. But you want the wire to come from the sides. That's why you need to go back and forth between the prongs, because everything's going to pull. Okay, so I got some space made. Let's get the stone back in there, nice and snug. Now you can pull your prongs out over the stone. So gently grab with your round nose pliers and twist. Just like the back, twist the other way. Twist the other way. It should pull the wires from these bundles on each side. You have to go back and adjust your bindings. Twist up around the stone. Up around the stone. Up around the stone. Try to get your bindings back to where they're supposed to be. I'm gonna go through and try to straighten out these wires, trying to make them look halfway decent. Now that I look at it, I think just use 22 gauge wire. 22 gauge wire would be a lot easier than 20 gauge, but too late now. At least it'll be nice and sturdy. That this was 20 gauge, but this is 22. That's okay. It's just harder to work with. 20 gauge wire would be great for a larger cabochon, but this is fine. Let's separate out these wires. Let's see. Now the top wires I want to bring back across for my decorations. Gonna have 4 of them because 2 of them I'll use for my little loop-de-loops. Stop it, get back down there. Bring you up. Bring you down. So let's bring them to the side. Make our little loops now. Make them somewhat matching. I don't need them too big. I'm gonna make them a little smaller. Okay, I think I'm just gonna snip them. Right now I'm just tucking the ends in. Next I want to make my swirlies and kind of hide all that garbage in the middle. Not sure yet if these are too long. I'll just start swirling and I can snip them as needed. I don't want to make them too short yet. Let's see, I'm just gonna just grab one and start twirling. I also want to throw some beads on this one. I have some 3mm seamless round sterling silver beads from Art Beads, and they have a nice big hole on them. So I'm going to throw that one on and see how I can incorporate them. That looks cute. We go to the other side and kind of do the same thing. Okay, so this one I want to see what I can do with this side. This one I'll throw a bead on. Okay, 2 more to go. Hopefully this isn't overpowering to the stone. Oh, those are almost touching. Let me bring it out. Well, look at that. Interesting, right? I think I'm done fiddling. So my next step here is to oxidize this puppy, and then we can come back and put the bracelet together. Okay, so I polished it up. Now I'm just gonna go wash it off with a toothbrush and some dish soap. I'll be back and we'll put the bracelet together. Here it is all cleaned up. I just took a toothbrush and some dish soap and just washed it off. That's a little more ornate than I originally planned. So this one I only curled 2 of the 4 wires on each side. Must have took the other 2 and wrapped them around the ends. You can also do the same with this one, but for now I'll leave it like this. But let's throw this bracelet together real quick and I'll show you what it looks like. Next I want to put my cord ends on the leather, so I want to go with the curve here just like that. These are really easy, you just pinch them. Easy peasy. Doing it this way makes it interchangeable, and you can potentially change out the bracelet. Just need to add my swan clasp. Alright, there we have it. Well, ornate style labradorite bracelet. Didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. First of all, I used the wrong gauge wire. I should have used 22, I used 20, so that made it bigger, and then I made twice as many swirls. So I can always come back and cut that down if I wanted to. So all kinds of choices here. Alright, so that's it for me. I hope you liked this video. Hit the like button if you did. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I make new videos every week. You can also check me out on social media. All the links are down in the description. I just joined TikTok, so you can catch me over there too. It's really fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.